Your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your actions. And your actions control your events. Or you could say your thoughts dictate your feelings. You take away the source of the pain and the pain. It's like you saying, I've got weeds in my lawn, I mowed them, but 2 years later they came back. That's so weird. It's not really weird because you left the roots intact. So a feeling is something you feel. It's come from the body. Suddenly, I've seen a snake and I've seen a rat and I feel repulsed. I remember seeing a rat in my house and I felt, ugh, a rat. Horrible. I mean, I could pick up a hamster. I could pick up a little gerbil. You know, I could hold a butterfly or I could hold a ladybug because the picture is cute. Yeah. But I wouldn't hold a cockroach or a dung-eating beetle. I wouldn't hold a moth. And so when you get a feeling, you've got a picture and you feel scared. And the feeling is so instant that we think the feeling comes immediately. So a feeling, you have to talk yourself out of a feeling. Thoughts are also pretty instant, but you can change them very quickly. I'm going on a date, I feel terrified. No, actually I don't. I feel excited. I got a choice. Feel terrified, feel excited. You know, one of my clients was a very famous rock star and he had to pay someone to push him on stage. So he'd get all ready, super excited. He's at LA Bowl or the O2. He's got the guitar, just about to go, and he thinks, oh my God, I can't do this. Because he's got the feeling of absolute fear. And so up comes a guy whose job it is to push him on stage, and he begins to do that, and then he feels great. But that feeling would have overwhelmed him if he hadn't decided, I'm just going to feel the feeling and carry on. So, you know, feelings, we think we're a victim of our feelings. We're not. You can choose to interpret a feeling, and thoughts, you have to make sense of them. But here's an interesting rule. Your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your actions. And your actions control your events. Or you could say your thoughts dictate your feelings. Your feelings dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your events. So that actually says the thought comes first, even before the feeling.
Really?
The thought comes first. And then comes the feeling, and then comes the action. So all the laws go back to change your thoughts. We try to say, I'm going to change this. I feel so sad. I'm going to change that. I feel so lonely. I feel so unhappy. But actually, if you change your thinking, it will take care of the feeling.
You won't feel that way.
No. It's like if you go and watch a roller coaster, people are screaming. Are they screaming because they're terrified or happy? Who knows? But you get to choose what you think about that. It's a bit like, you know, I think I told you this story before about one of my clients who had breast cancer, and she said, well, I feel so lucky because I don't need a breast. I need a leg and an arm and an eye, but I don't need that. And sometimes with the strangest things that happen, if you can look back and go, oh, well, how I thought about that event affected me way more than the event. It's always how you think about it. Yeah.
The meaning behind it.
So we're taught that we can't change our feelings. Our feelings come upon us and there's nothing we can do. But we're taught that our thoughts, well, maybe we can run those, but it's not true. You can change your feelings and your thoughts. And if you change your thoughts, you change your feelings. If you change your feelings, it doesn't change your thoughts. So a lot of people go, you know, I'm really nervous, so I'm going to like jump up and down and take some deep breaths and breathe into a brown paper bag because I heard that was good, and I'm doing all of that. So I'm controlling the feelings, but the thoughts come back. So let's say you said I'm terrified of birds or dogs, and if I saw one, I'd have a heart attack.
Right.
A little bird landing on my table, no, I don't even go to outside restaurants because a little bird, that would kill me, or dogs. I don't like cats. See, these are thoughts. Now, if you try to say to someone, look, but it's such a cute little dog, it's such a sweet little bird, it can't hurt you, because the feelings are going on, you believe that's not true. But when you change the thoughts, the feeling does go away completely, which is why, again, people can have little pet gerbil and be terrified of a mouse. It's why you could eat lamb but not horse. I mean, I would never eat foal. I wouldn't eat donkey. I wouldn't eat pony. I wouldn't eat baby elephant. But I eat lamb. I don't eat lamb very often, but I'm not a vegan. I was for a long time, and a vegetarian. It's the thinking. So a vegan would go, I could never eat anything with a face. But the thought is there, and then they would feel sick if they ate anything with a face. So if I had a big lump of meat in my hand now, what do you think about that? Well, if you're a vegan, you think that's disgusting. That was a living, sentient creature. If you're a Hindu, you'd think that's so offensive. That's a sacred animal. If you're a bodybuilder, you go, great, protein. If you're starving, think protein. If I had a syringe in my hand right now, what is that? Well, if you're having a tattoo, it's very exciting. It's the way to get inked all over your arm. If you're in immense pain, that's fantastic. It's going to take the pain away. If you're a drug addict, that's like, oh, yes, I'm going to get off my face now. And if you're scared of needles, it's like, oh, I faint at the sight of needles. I can't even look at, I've got raging tooth. I'm not going to the dentist ever because I don't like needles. So it's not the needle, is it? It's not the lump of meat. It's what you think about it dictates what you feel about it. So you don't have a feeling about the meat or the needle. You have a thought, and the thought dictates the feeling.
Is this why hypnotherapy is so powerful? Because if people can't change their thoughts themselves, then you can
does it for them.
Get them to a relaxed state to allow them to think differently and say, oh, it's not that bad.
It's really powerful. I mean, proper hypnotherapy, the kind I do, and all therapy is good, but proper hypnotherapy excites the imagination. It doesn't say every day in every way you're getting better. It says you are elated and excited and thrilled and turned on by going to the gym, and you love work, and then you come home and you choose to eat the right food, and then you work on your business plan and you're so excited, and the right ideas take root and develop, and you formulate something amazing, and you monetize a gift, and you're just so successful. Because the mind loves exciting words. The words must be in the present tense. They must make a picture. And they must be powerful and dramatic, and even better, have powerful words in front of the words. So I give my clients the words they've always wanted to hear. That's all I do really. Is the first time I'm like a detective and I'm gathering information. They come in, or maybe I'm online, or maybe I'm teaching other people. And the first thing you do is you're an investigator. A detective lays out pictures and goes, oh, look at that, look at that. If I look at those, I understand what went wrong. So I'm a detective and I'm understanding what went wrong. And then straight away after that, all good hypnotherapists do this, particularly our TT, our Rapid Transformational Therapists. Investigate. They find an imprint. There's always an imprint, a scared child, an authority figure, and something that goes on. But then the next bit, which most therapists don't do, is you interpret that with your client. If you go, look, you do this because of that, they go, well, really? I went home and I told my mum, she said, that's rubbish. Of course you don't. I went home and told my husband, he said, I don't think that's true, and now I'm doubting it. And I used to do that. I'd go, okay, you do this because of that. And most people said, yes. But when I got my clients to do it with me, let's work. Why do you think you did it? Go, well, now you've mentioned it, of course. When I was 4, these twin brothers came along, and now I can see that I felt replaced, usurped. No longer, I lost my status. I didn't know who I was.
So it's allowing the patient to investigate as well.
Yeah, and then, so they investigate, find the imprint, interpret, but then you interrupt it. You completely smash that idea out the park. Yes, I know when you were 2, when you were born, you weighed 3 pounds, you nearly died, your parents fed you with a dropper. If you broke through, you cried hysterically and was on the phone to the doctor, and your dad would go, we've got to get this baby to eat, otherwise we're going to be back into the preemie ward. But now you're 42, you weigh 300 pounds,
Right.
You're not going to die anymore. So you interrupt it, and you have to be funny and relevant, and also quite tough. It's not a good enough reason to keep doing that. Going to all-you-can-eat buffets is not a challenge. you're not supposed to eat as much as you possibly can because it's free. Because there's no such thing as free. Take whatever you want and then pay for it. And when you eat all that food, they're losing it, but you're paying for it.
There's a price that you're paying.
Yeah. So after you've done the investigate, imprint, interpret, interrupt, then you do what I call the installing. So you go from being a detective to like a doctor who's extracting all the toxic stuff. Then you become a coder, and you code in, and you wire in and fire in. Yeah. And the mind learns by repetition. The mind learns by repetition, and it only responds to words that they can picture. If you go, I'm not bad, me. I have good days and bad days. I'm all right. No, you have to go, I am the greatest. Muhammad Ali said, I told myself I was the greatest. I didn't even know I was, but I said it, and I became it. He could have gone, I'm not bad, me. Good days, bad days. Sometimes I'm all right, sometimes I'm good.
I will win. I am the best.
No one can beat me. He said that no one can beat me, which actually wasn't true. He was beaten, but he carried on saying it, and now we tend to think of him as the unbeaten Muhammad Ali, the person who never got it wrong. So when you meet people who say, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm amazing, we forget that some of those actors did movies that were dreadful. We forget that they did something wrong. They lost a
fight. Yeah, Conor McGregor's lost a few fights.
We just remember how good they were because they told us we were good. So the most important part of hypnotherapy are the two things. One is you must find the reason and remove it. And the second is you must put in really powerful, powerful, powerful words. And a lot of therapists
do it repetitively over and over.
Yeah, about a 12 to 15 minute long audio, but it's got to be really exciting. And
listen to it every day. Yeah.
21 days, if not every day. You can listen to it for 3 weeks and then it's gone in, it's wired in, it's fired in. You can then, maybe a month later, you've got some important interview, play it again. But a lot of people don't understand. They either go to therapy and they understand why, but they still do it because they don't do the new installation, or they do the installation without finding out why. So they buy all these recordings. And I know they work because somebody said, oh, I bought your recording for examiners. And my kid, who was lying on the floor hysterical, just said, oh, I'm going to ace that exam. And she went in there and she did. So it does work. But when you do both, it works forever. And, you know, therapy is such a strange thing, and I'm not anti any therapist, but there's no other profession where they go, bring me your pain, and we'll talk about it. Nobody goes, hey, dentist, I got this terrible infection. Why don't you come in and we'll have a conversation about it every Wednesday at 3 o'clock? They go, I've got to get that infection out. No one says to their doctor, I think I've broken my arm. We can discuss that every week. How's the pain today? I don't know, I'm being facetious, but it's such a strange model. Let's discuss your pain every week until you get used to it, get to understand it, get familiar with it, or get past it. I'm like, why don't you just get past it straight away? Because if someone came to me and said, I have a chronic headaches, I wouldn't ever say, let me get rid of the headache today, right now. We use hypnosis, and we can certainly turn the pain right down, and then we can find out why you have it. But I would never say, well, let's discuss it. And so hypnotherapy is more powerful, I think, than any other therapy because it both removes the pain and removes the cause of the pain.
Yeah.
It takes away the pain and it takes away the cause. People say, but surely if you stop someone smoking, they bite their nails. You stop someone drinking, don't they go gambling?
They do something else, yeah.
No, if you do it properly, they never, ever do that because you take away the source of the pain and the pain. It's like you saying, I got weeds in my lawn, I mowed them, but 2 weeks later they came back. That's so weird. It's not really weird because you left the roots intact.
What's the main cause of most people smoking that keeps them addicted for so long? Is there a common theme?
Well, yeah, it's like everything, whether you're smoking, drinking, gambling, it's your belief. Like a lot of smokers, I can't go to the bathroom if I don't smoke. Well, what do they think non-smokers do? They go to the bathroom. They go, no, I can't relax if I don't smoke. I can't focus if I don't smoke. I can't digest a meal if I don't smoke. I mean, I've heard every single reason why people must smoke, because, I mean, I worked with a famous writer and she said, I can't write without cigarettes. I'm like, is that where your talent lies? In a packet of Marlboro Lights? I didn't know that. I thought you were gifted. You just said, no, it's the Marlboro Lights. And she went, it's not the Marlboro Lights. I went, well, then stop telling yourself that it is. But it's the lies we tell ourselves. So smokers will say, I don't know what to do with my hands. Why don't you look at a non-smoker? Do what they do. Drinkers will say, I can't relax without a drink. I can't focus. I can't enjoy myself. Listeners will say, life, how could you live your life without chocolate? How could you enjoy your coffee without sugar? We lie to ourselves so much. And, you know, I do opposite. Why don't you tell yourself a better lie? Why did you go, I love my life without sugar. It's thrilling. It's not true. I know, but if you say it every day, you know what happens? It becomes true. No one was more of a chocoholic than me. No one ate more sugar than me. Until I decided to stop poisoning my body and realize that it's a horrible thing. It doesn't mean it doesn't taste lovely.
It's almost like we're all hypnotizing ourselves every day throughout our whole life.
That's true. We are hypnotized every day.
Based on what we're saying to ourselves.
And also the media, who, by the way, if you put on a computer or drive to work, you are invited to eat rubbish food about 500 times a day. You know, you put on an advert, there's no adverts for broccoli or yummy pears. They're adverts for fast food. I mean, I went to the Olympics in London. I took my godson.
I was there, I loved it.
And there were 3 sponsors, Cadbury's, McDonald's and Coca-Cola. And you probably remember they were giving out, they had the purple trays, they were giving out Cadbury's. And I'm like, isn't that weird that chocolate is sponsoring the Olympics? But they have the money because they've made us believe that you can't have Valentine's Day without chocolate. You can't have Christmas without chocolate. How can you have Easter without Easter eggs? So we've got all of this stuff wired into our brain. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. But you know, you can unwire that. It's actually really, really easy.
I was in college, my senior year of college. I wanted to be an All-American decathlete. And I had 6 months where I made the decision, okay, my dream was to be an All-American my whole life. I didn't get it in football originally. I did after this, but I had 1 season left, which is what I thought. And I had the track season. And I was a decent sprinter, and I could high jump, and I could do a few events, but I was not good at any one event in order to make my goal of being an All-American. But the decathlon, which is 10 events, I was like, maybe if I put all these together, maybe I could. But I'd never done the pole vault, and I'd never done hurdles and a few other events. And for me, the pole vault was the scariest, because I didn't like going upside down, I didn't like being on a little pole 15 feet in the air, I didn't want to bend something and snap and break my neck, all these fears. And I literally did what you said, which was I made it a voice audio recording back then when I was 21. It was about 8 to 10 minutes long, just essentially hyping myself up. I loved going upside down. I love bending a pole where it almost snaps and slingshots me to achieve my goal. I just talked about this over and over. And then every night I would listen to this. I would listen to it before I did the pole vault, and I would watch highlight videos every night before I go to sleep of the best pole vaulters in the world. And I was horrible at the time, but I took the actions on the thoughts, which made the events a possibility. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was just like, I need to trick my mind until I became confident. I'm curious, you talked about, you know, telling ourselves better lies. How do we become more self-confident or overcome doubt if we've never been confident and then just lie that we are?
Yeah, well, it's what I call lie, cheat, and steal. Lie to your mind, cheat fear, steal back the phenomenal confidence you were born with. So a baby doesn't really have a fear of being upside down or a pole. And a baby would put a cockroach in their mouth if you let them, shove their hands in an electric socket if you allow them to, touch a really hot oven, because they are fearless, they're kamikaze pilots. So I think you should lie to your mind all the time. You know, when I go on stage, to this day I still get this tingling in my fingers and tingling in my toes, and I know it's adrenaline. And I could go, oh my God, I'm so nervous, look, my hands are shaking now, and I'm really nervous. Or I could go, I'm so excited, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And many years ago I had an experience probably the first time I really listened to the power of lying to yourself. And I was in bed, it was late at night, and the BBC called me and said, can you come on the radio in the morning? We want to talk about the work you've done with this football club and how they've gone from nowhere to being in the Premier League. And I'm like, sure. And they said, well, we'll pick you up at 6 a.m. It's very early, and then we'll take you to the studio and just do the radio show. So 6 a.m., about 10 to 6, I got out of bed, cleaned my teeth. I think I half combed my hair, got in the car, went off, sat down, and then all of a sudden they said, actually, we're going to put you straight on the news. So they started to run me across the car park, and I'm like, where's hair and makeup? They went, no, we haven't got time for that. You're going on the news. This is such a great story. Forget about the radio. We want you on the news. So I sat down.
Video, TV, yeah.
TV, and I'm trying to comb my hair, put on a bit of lipstick. I mean, I've just woken up. And the gurney is there, and I know it's coming towards me like this. And I knew I had a choice. I could go, oh my God, why didn't you put on a nice jacket? Why didn't you comb your hair? Why didn't you put on makeup? Why didn't you? And I remember saying, I have a choice now. I've got 30 seconds to either go, kind of idiot, you, or to go, I love it. So I began to go, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love being live on the BBC News. I love it so much. I love it. And here it's, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, right in my face. And then I just did the interview, and it was great. But if I'd kept saying, oh my God, I haven't even combed my hair, it looks so awful. And actually one person said, hey, I saw you, you didn't comb your hair. I said, I know, it was 6 a.m. But no one out there said, oh, it was so cool what you did with that football team. That was extraordinary. No one else said.
One person noticed.
Yeah, that was a girl, of course. And I noticed, but you know.
Yeah.
But it's the lying to yourself. I can do it. You know, I'm sure you know this very famous story about someone asking a major rock star what it's like. You went, it's amazing. Going on stage, it's better than an orgasm. You said, just before you go on, your fingers tingle and your heart beats and this adrenaline, this is just so awesome. And everything is going on. You're shaking, trembling, sweating, heartbeats pounding 1,000,000 miles a minute. And then you go on stage and there they are and they love you. And it's like, it's better than sex. Now cue someone, they said, why did you stop performing? They said, well, the most terrible thing happened to me. You know, every time I was about to go on stage, my fingers would tingle and my heart beat so fast. And then I'd get all this adrenaline. And I started sweating, and I realized I was having a massive panic attack. And it happened every time, so I retired from performing. So, you see, they both lied to themselves. She said it was a panic attack. He said it was better than sex. But it's better to say this is exciting, this is thrilling, this is amazing. Even when it isn't, when someone's putting a needle in your arm, and you go, oh, is that going to hurt? Better to go, I'm so great, and I'm just reading my phone here, and oh, look at that, that's fantastic. I'm oblivious to what's going on in my arm, and by the way, needles are so fine now that I won't even notice it. So it is a lie, but it's a good lie, and we all lie to it. When you say, I'm just rubbish, I'm just useless, I don't even know why I'm here, who's ever going to want me? Well, isn't that a lie?
That's a lie. Yeah.
Why would you say that? You know, some of the most happily married women in the world have got scars, flaws, and yet they have people that worship them. And some of the most beautiful women in the world go, yeah, but you know, I've got big feet, or I've got this downy hair on my legs, and I don't even want to see, this mole, or when I do that, I've got this fat. And they lie to themselves. I am not enough is the biggest lie in the world. That's why I founded the I'm Enough movement, because it's a lie. No baby says I'm not enough because I haven't got a dad, or I haven't got any teeth yet, or I've got these milk spots, I've got no hair. And so when we say I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not interested enough, that is a lie. Because my grand used to say, every pan has a lid. And then when I got married to John, I said, I found my lid, and he found his lid, and I'm far from perfect, and so is he. But these people that wait, they're waiting to be prettier, thinner, richer, more interesting. They're missing out on so much love, because that's a lie. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You have to be you. And you'll never get to perfect. Perfect is a race, and as you run towards it, they move the finishing line again and again and again. and I've worked with many people who appear to be perfect, and they are always the unhappiest of all my clients, and always the loneliest too. Because that's a lie. There isn't a perfect person on the planet, and many of my clients are supermodels, so you know, it becomes it's horrible. Everyone expects me to be amazing. Eric Clapton's wife, Patty, I mean, she and George Harrison wrote for her, "Something in the Way You Move attracts me like no other lover," and Eric wrote "Wonderful Tonight" and Layla. And I asked her once what that was like. She said it was horrible, horrible. People expected this goddess to walk in the room, and I always felt I was going to disappoint them.
Wow.
Which is such a shame, because she is actually a lovely, lovely person, Patty. But just because she was a supermodel on the cover of Vogue, and she said I looked for every flaw. And you know what? I always found it, because if you look for flaws, that's one of the rules of the mind. You find what you look for. If you look for what's wrong, of course you'll find it. If you look for what's right, you'll find that. If you look for why you're not enough, of course you'll find it. And if you look for why you are enough just the way you are, you're enough because you're enough.
Yeah.
So everything's a lie.
Lie to
so
yourself.
Tell yourself a better lie.
Lie, cheat, steal.
Well, aren't we all doing that now? I'm in lockdown. I'm in quarantine. Nobody's in quarantine. Quarantine is when you're in a tent in a hospital. Nobody can go in. That's quarantine.
Yeah. You're fine.
We're not in quarantine. We're not cooped up, stuck, trapped. No one's taken our freedom away. No, we're not a prisoner. But you see, this is the lie. The lies we say. I've got to be a grade A student. I'm not enough. I'm rubbish. And you might as well, since we all lie to ourselves, the freeway is killing me. Isn't that a lie? My job makes me want to die. Well, that's a lie. If I get rejected one more time, I'll jump under a train. But that's a lie. I've eaten non-stop for 24 hours. Really? Did you pee? Yes. Did you eat while you were peeing? No. Did you sleep? Yes. So did you eat? No. So you just said you ate non-stop for 24 hours. That's a lie. My legs are the size of a house. That's a lie. I've got a barn the size of, I've got a bum the size of a city. That's a lie. I should say butt. My butt is the size of a small city. It's a lie. I can eat enough. I eat as much as an army eats. All of these things are lies. My kid makes me want to kill myself. My partner is making me go crazy. I'm insane with tiredness. I'm shattered. I'm exhausted. They're all lies. You're not. You need a bit of sleep. My kids are nightmen. No, they're age appropriate. So we all lie. So tell yourself a better lie, and you'll have a whole better life.
Tell yourself a better lie, live a better life.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
When you came and spoke at the Summer of Greatness, you talked about the I Am Enough book and challenge and everything. And it's funny because Jeanette and I, my girlfriend, were walking the day afterwards in Columbus and checking out some shops. And there was a big sign that was an art sign said, I am enough. And I bought it for her, and she has it now. And it's a reminder to constantly tell yourself that lie, the good lie, that you are enough.
And you know, one of the wonderful things to do with I'm enough, you see, I mean, you might notice I have these little bracelets. They all say I'm enough. I wear them. You should write it on your mirror, write it on your fridge, put it in fridge, use liner or lipstick or marker, write it on your mirror, put it on your fridge, put it on your screensaver, put it on your phone alert so it goes off twice a day. And very securely incorporate into all your passwords. Imagine if the first thing you do in the morning is clean your teeth, and there it is, I'm enough. And then your phone pings at 8 a.m., I'm enough. And then you go to unlock your phone, you've got to type in, obviously dots, squiggles, safe, I'm enough. When you write it, read it, speak it, and see it every day, it goes in anyway, it sinks in, and it makes such a difference. And then it isn't a lie anymore, it becomes real, because first of all, we say things like, I'm enough, and your mind goes, you're not really enough, are you? Because you buy your clothes in Target and you live in a shed, and you're not really enough because you've got a very lowly job, and
your girlfriend
an
left
old
you.
car, your girlfriend left you, your kids won't speak to you, you're not really enough because you've got cellulite, or you're not really enough because you're not tall. But then when you keep saying it, what happens is, because you're the one objecting, by the way, you run out of objections. You go, you know what? I'm not tall, neither is Kevin Hart, I'm still enough. I'm not a size 2, neither is J-Lo, I'm still enough. I'm not whatever, but I'm still enough. You actually run out of objections. When you run out of objections, then it goes in, and then it starts to nourish you. You know, I was saying to people, when you have dry skin and you put on lotion, you're nourishing yourself, and your body doesn't go, is that lotion fair trade, organic, has it got any parabens? It just goes, oh, this dryness is being nourished now by some lotion. But you have to nourish your soul with words, and they go in too. So nourish your soul with better words. And there's nothing better than I'm enough, because its strength is its simplicity. You were born knowing you're enough, and so what you're doing is reactivating and remanifesting and regenerating a truth that is your innate birthright. And no one came and took it away. People say like, oh, your brother was in my class, he was saying, what happened to you? Or your sister, she's so much kinder or neater than you. So people do chip away at it, but it hasn't gone. It's just been buried, and you can resurrect it. If you enjoyed that video, check out the next one right here. You can also click the link below right here for your free gift. We have a choice. You can go, I'm in agony, my head is killing me, which is not true. You can go, I got a headache, it's slightly annoying, but I'm going to take